Hello, blessings, and welcome to Your Cosmic Essence Power. The first thing we're going to start with is a discussion of what is your cosmic essence. Cosmic means of the cosmos, which is the same as saying of God, of Creator, of divine, of universal energy. Now, why is it yours? Your cosmic essence power is the divine spark. It is the divine essence that you are made of. Now, even though when you look in the mirror, you don't see a spark exactly, but at some point in time, or in some dimension, in some manner, your soul was created. It was created with the substance of the Creator. That's what you are made from. Now, the Creator, whatever the Creator may be, and you're free to have your own interpretation of what that means and what it is, the Creator gave you something that nobody else has. That is a unique identity called your unique soul signature. Now, your soul signature is as unique as your fingerprint. Now, what that means in soul terms is that your soul has a frequency or a vibration, set of notes or colors that is a combination that is completely unique in all the universe. Now, what that means is that although you were created with the same cosmic kind of energy that everybody was created from, that means that, in a sense, everybody is your brother and sister, but it also means that nobody is like you because they have, each of them, their own distinctive soul signature, just as you have yours. What that means is when you tune in, when you meditate on this inner spark of yours, yes, you are tuning into something universal, and that can make you feel at one with the universe, but you are never going to have the exact same experience that somebody else would have because they are experiencing the universe through the lens of their own unique soul signature. So it's something to bear in mind. When you read a spiritual book or hear a spiritual teaching, you are going to experience your interpretation of that through the lens of your own soul signature, which is experiencing things in a distinctive way. When you recognize that you are learning through your own experience, you realize it's better to have your distinctive personal experience and not simply believe a prefabricated spiritual reality that's being presented to you. So, we are going to start with tuning in to your inner spark, your inner cosmic essence power. To start, tune into your body. That's always where we start because that's the house for your soul. It's the temple where you live. So breathe into that and get a sense of that. Use your imagination to get a sense of your aura and get a sense that your aura is spinning and shimmering and releasing those things from the day that you do not need at this time. Stale thoughts, emotions, experiences, because you want to spend an hour focusing on your cosmic essence. Now, there's so many things where you are. There's your body, your thoughts, your emotions. How do you get to the spark? Now, the spark is there, but to really tune into it, just imagine that you had a magic eraser. And imagine that with this magic eraser, you could erase all the things temporarily, because you do have control of the process. You could erase things that are irrelevant to tuning into your spark. For example, you could erase thoughts, you could erase emotions, you could even erase the details of the room. Let's start with that. Just for fun, imagine that in your environment, you've got your magic eraser in hand. What if you could erase the features of the room? We want to make things simpler and simpler and simpler, and that will leave us with our pure awareness of our cosmic self. And realize you're doing this with your imagination for the purpose of tuning in. So you aren't really making anything go away. It's just a game that helps your mind become attuned to something that's ordinarily somewhat esoteric and unusual to tune into. So just imagine you're erasing the details of the room. Imagine that you are erasing events that have taken place in the room. That'll make everything actually start to feel more simple and quiet. Now imagine that you are erasing all the extra thoughts, all the extra emotions in your aura. Just pretend, with your eraser, erasing inconsequential thoughts and emotions in your aura. Okay. Now, let's take it a little bit further. What if you could erase your history, all the events that have taken place? And don't worry, you aren't really erasing them. It's just a game you're playing with your consciousness right now. So, take your magic eraser, just erase the events in your history. And you will start to notice something. You will start to notice that your consciousness feels very still. And you may notice that your consciousness feels very present. Now, when we go beyond the mind and beyond the emotions and beyond the physical plane, if we are still present in our body, we are going to start to notice something that is more essential, something that is deeper. Now, it's a paradox because we're saying erase this and erase that, but you're not floating away somewhere. You are remaining very present. Now, start to notice, what is it that seems to be there when there are fewer thoughts, and what happens when there are fewer emotions, but you are totally present in your physical body? You're right here, right now. Now, with your imagination, start to open up a space of awareness within yourself where you can sense or imagine the spark of you, the spark that has actually always been there. And all of these consciousness games of erasing this and erasing that, it's to help you tune into something cosmic that has always been there. And if you like, take your magic eraser, and if you notice other details that are getting in the way of your perception, just imagine that you are gently dissolving them. Dissolve the details that are drawing your attention and getting in the way. And gently bring your consciousness to this spark that seems to be there underneath everything. It's as if there were layer upon layer, influences, thoughts, emotions, incidents. Underneath those, there's something twinkling that has always been there. Now start to tune into that spark. Get a sense of it. Now it's right there within your body. It's right there within your soul, because your soul and your body coexist in the same space. Now, this spark might seem to be large, and it might seem to be small. It is, as is true in so many things in metaphysics, simultaneously vast and tiny, beyond size. It's a principle or an essence, so it doesn't really have a size. But if you sense it as small or large, well, that's good enough. That's good enough for your awareness. That's what it is for you. Now, tune into that and start to bring your attention deeper into that experience. Now, if it seems that you are making it up, well, that's natural because you are sensing something that is subtle with your awareness. So you are using the same tools that you would use to make something up. But you are, in fact, having a valid spiritual experience with your essence. Now, you might sense that this spark of any size has a sound, or you might not. It's okay either way. You might sense that it has a light, or you might not. That's okay either way. To the extent that you can, step into the space where that eternal spark is. Now, you are going to have your experience, and your experience is okay. And if the voice shows up that says, oh, I'm just making this up, thank that voice for sharing. But keep on having that experience with your inner spark. Now, one of the things that's unusual about this spark, it retains the freshness of its moment when it was created. Now, remember, a lot of fascinating paradoxes exist with this inner cosmic spark of yours. It was made of universal substance. Universal substance knows everything, but it was created fresh with your distinctive soul signature. And at that moment, when it was created, it was to a certain extent, through the process of being given a distinctive soul identity, made slightly separate from the universe. It's a really important concept to understand, because understanding this helps you understand certain problems that you may think are your problems, but they are actually universal problems. And the problems are, how can you be you, and how can you still be part of a group or part of the universe? And the answer is that to be healthy in your sense of self, you need to recognize that you're automatically part of the all, part of the everything, part of the group of all, because you're made of the same substance. So tune into that. Let's start with that. Tune into your essence and really start to recognize, maybe for the first time, hey, I, in my essence, am made of the same substance that everybody is made of. So get a sense of what that feels like. And let that sense that you are made of that universal substance that everybody's made of, really feel that. And a nice way to feel something from your essence, let that essence start to flow through your body. Because your physical body is how you tune into realities on this earth plane. So in your earth plane body, feel your eternal spark starting to flow through you. Get a sense of what it feels like to feel the commonality that you're made of the same basic universal substance that everybody's made of. Feel that commonality feeling, that sense of we, sense of us flowing through you. Now, there's that other quality, the paradoxical quality. There's something flowing through you with your spark that nobody else has. So tune in. Get a sense of the uniqueness of your spark. You could even talk to the spark and communicate with it and ask to feel the vibe, the sense, the felt sense of being you with a distinctive soul signature that is unlike anybody else. Now, when you feel that uniqueness, it might feel completely natural to you because it is you. It's not that you will be tuning into something and think, wow, this is really weird. Quite the contrary. But one of the things that perturbs many people is that they have a hard time with the fact that they are unique. And so this will help you. When you tune into your essence, you recognize that your essence is unique, and you really tune into it and feel it as it is, and you feel that flowing through your body. And that starts to reprogram you in a beautiful way. Many of the programs that your body has, you picked up from sources like television commercials telling you that you were not good enough, or other individuals on the earth plane who said you are too this or too that, whatever that might be. And so in order to heal that, you tune into your unique essence, and you ask that unique essence spark to flow through you and heal you of that feeling that there's something off about you because you're different. You were created to be different. So tune into that unique quality, the unique quality of your spark, and let that unique spark quality flow through your body, flow through your mind. Breathe it into your lungs, breathe it into your heart, so it becomes part of your bloodstream. Now you might say, well, isn't it already part of my bloodstream? Well, yes and no. It is on a basic essence level, but on this earth plane, we are learning to be conscious. So when you learn to be conscious of your spark, you're getting a benefit that's somewhat similar to being in the presence of somebody who's transmitting cosmic activations or Shaktipat or whatever you want to call it. So doing it this way, it's a somewhat more subtle experience. It's not as dramatic as having a teacher zap you with some cosmic energy. This is subtle compared to that. It's more gentle and it's more integrated, because when you tune in to your cosmic essence power, and when you discover it for yourself and you choose to let your body flow with it, when you let that essence flow through your bloodstream, you are opening up to the deeper essence of you. You're opening up to the deeper essence of you in a way that gives you permission to really know who you are, in a manner that does not give your power away. Now, when somebody activates your energy, even if that person does not intend to put themselves on a pedestal, there's a tendency to do that. There's a tendency for certain parts of the mind to give power away to somebody who seems to have a special spiritual skill. So it is quite empowering for you in your own spiritual progress to, for yourself, tune into your essence and start to work with it and start to learn from it. Now, we are going to go back in time a little bit, and we are going to do some healing for some of the spiritual jolts and upsets that your soul experienced when it was born. Now, this is different from being born into a human family in this lifetime. We are talking about when your soul was born. This is before you ever incarnated on the material plane. This is the moment when the Creator took some of its own Creator divine substance and formed the unique soul signature of you. Now, the reason that's such a spiritual jolt for you, you can scarcely imagine what it's like, but just try and get a sense of this. When you were given free will, that is a totally huge shift in your reality. Free will, and that's what it means to have a unique soul signature. It means that you are no longer just going along automatically with the ways of the universe. It means that you are having to look at the ways of the universe and learn them for yourself. Now, the reason the universe creates you to be unique in the first place is because it helps the universe grow. The more the universe can multiply itself with totally unique beings, each of them with free will, and each of them with a unique soul signature, the more multifaceted the universe becomes, because instead of just one cosmic power telling everybody what to do, there are these trillions upon trillions of unique, free will, distinctive individuals, and they are all tuning in and making their own choices. Now, that doesn't mean that you can just do whatever you want. It means that you are choosing to tune into the universal truth and to express it in your own completely distinctive way. And so it's a really potent moment when your soul is created, because you're suddenly in the position of saying, oh, well, what do I believe? And that, of course, is something that many of us are asking every day anyway, as well we should. And so tune into that moment. Just pretend that you can go to that point in time when your soul was created. It was given that unique spark of individual identity, and it was given that unique quality of being able to make your own choices for yourself. So imagine that in your hands you are lovingly holding that divine spark in the moment of its creation. So in a way, it's still fresh from divine source, but in a way it's sort of like a baby, because suddenly having to make its own decisions. It's like the difference between being in the womb of your mother, where you don't have to think and decide all that much, but after you are born, then you suddenly start to realize, oh, food is not automatically here. And I have these thoughts, and I have these emotions, and I have this body, and I have this capacity to do all these things, but what do I do with it, and what's life about? And you start getting, in a sense, philosophical, you might say, baby level of philosophical. So being created as a unique soul, it brings up those issues because you suddenly have free will. You suddenly have a sense of yourself compared to the rest of the universe. So, very potent moment. Tune into that moment when your soul was created and cradle that unique spark of you in your arms and just share love, share appreciation, and share the sense that as much as you want to learn from that original spark, and it has a lot to teach, you also want to share with that original spark what you have learned, which at the very least is that you can extend love and caring to this original spark. So maybe you are getting a sense that there is a relationship building between your original spark and the you that you have become now. And let's actually tune into that. Tune into the fact that there is a unique spark, the eternal spark, created billions of years ago by divine source. So get a sense of that spark within you, and get a sense of the flow, the relationship give and take, the relationship flow between your personality in the present moment and the spark, between your body in the present moment and the spark. And the communication might be beyond words, just a flow, as if you were exchanging breathing or exchanging vibrations or love or happiness or beingness. Keep it simple, sheer beingness. Okay. Good. Now, that's excellent. This is esoteric, and yet it's also simple. It's simple and doable. Let's tune into that spark and get a sense that even though that spark is fresh and new in the moment of its creation, it's also fresh and new in each moment. And the reason we typically don't really sense it is because there's so much busyness in our body, our emotions, and our mind, and in our world. Now, every time you practice tuning into your essence, it becomes easier and easier. It's kind of like recognizing the scent of something. Once you've experienced the scent of ginger or the scent of lavender or the scent of rose, you probably won't forget it. The next time you smell that, you will recognize it. And so you practice tuning into the vibe or the feel of your essence spark, and it becomes easier and easier to go there. Now get a sense that your spark can be small. You can hold it in your hands. Get a sense that it can glow and become bigger. It could be in your heart or in your brain or in your navel. It can be anywhere. And let's play with that for a moment. You've got your body. You can tune into that. You can pick any one point in your body. Just quietly ask the question within, what is the presence of my cosmic spark like when it is manifesting in this part of my body? And it starts to bring coherence to that part of the body. Now, why does it do that? Your spark is made of universal substance. So ultimately, that means that your physical body is made of universal substance, but it really helps your body and your mind feel more coherent when you can start to link some part of the physical body to this spark. And once you do that with one part of the body, try that with another part of the body. Tune into that area. Get a sense of your eternal spark there. Now with your consciousness, just go gently back and forth between the tissue of the body, the spark, the tissue of the body, the spark. until those realities start to fuse together. They connect themselves, and you feel an ever-present link between your eternal spark in that part of the body and the tissue of that part of the body. Now, if you like, you could use that spark as a healing tool. So you could take your hands or just imagine your light hands. You could move that spark around in any part of the body that seems to be stuck. Now, the reason that's so powerful for healing, it reconnects the part of the body that might have forgotten its divine nature with this inner spark of yours that was created just a moment ago. It's a curious paradox. The eternal spark was created probably trillions of years ago, but it was created yesterday, it was created 5 minutes ago, it will be created and recreated tomorrow. So it's creating and recreating itself, always with the same unique soul signature, but with the freshness of being ever newly created. It does that moment by moment by moment. So it's paradoxical. It's something you cannot explain to a rational mind, but it's something you can feel, and in tuning into it, you learn something about the nature of you and the nature of the universe. Now, tune into that spark and let the spark become bigger. Because remember, it is not a particular size. You think of a spark as being small, like a spark in a campfire, but this is a spark that could be as bright as the sun. It could be as big as the sun or as tiny as a little ember on a burning log. It's simultaneously all those things. So let the spark become bigger. The reason I wanted to start with smaller sparks is that as safe as this is for you, it is overwhelming to the ego. So we want to be gentle with these processes. And if, as you do this, as you make it bigger, if it seems overwhelming in any manner, make it small again, like a little burning ember. So for now, let's try this. Make it bigger, reach into it and stretch it out, and make your eternal spark bigger. Now you might notice that it has a sound. It might seem as if it's flickering or shimmering because it's totally alive. It's alive in the deepest sense of the word. It has the freshness of a baby, the freshness of youth, because it is in a condition of being ever newly created moment by moment by moment. But being made of universal substance, it has the wisdom. So it is a dual quality, old and wise and new as a baby, simultaneously. Now, as you make it bigger and you feel it filling your body, filling your mind, filling your heart and your aura, you receive a teaching. It's similar to the teaching that you get when you sit in the presence of somebody who is self-realized, or when you sit in the presence of a group of people who are spiritually attuned and they are meditating. And so you let that spark expand, and it is the spark of you. So find out how big you can let it be, and notice what your body feels like. You might feel that you could breathe more easily. You might feel elated or expanded. But because you are staying in your body, because you are staying grounded and focused, you are not becoming ungrounded. So you are elated but centered, expanded but grounded. Yeah, that's good. Let that spark shine forth, shine into the aura, and get a sense that you are present now with the eternal spark that was created in the moment when you were created. As a conscious being working with this, your consciousness that you have acquired over the many lifetimes is helping your spark. But there's something that your spark has that you will never quite have, because your spark has that original freshness. So it's always going to share that with you. It's the freshness that is seeing something for the first time. and it's seeing it with a universal perspective. So you think of the qualities that people use to describe God or Creator or higher being or saint or something like this. You can get a lot of that from tuning in to your original spark. Your original spark is, in many ways, the expression of those cosmic qualities. You look bright. Let yourself lift any heavy energies that are being brought to the surface out of your aura and out of the room, and release those stale energies that no longer need to be here in light or in the center of the earth. Just let the stale stuff go, and get a sense of how simple and yet profound it is to be present with your original spark, flickering and shimmering and pulsing within you in real time. One of the things that your spark remembers, even though it was perhaps shocked a bit when it became a unique, distinctive soul with a unique soul signature, even though that was a bit surprising, it still remembers on a certain level what it was like to be part of the source prior to being created. And that is one of the hidden powers of your original spark. So we are going to explore that right now. Tune in. Just use your imagination for this. Pretend that you can tune in to the point in time when your soul was created and given a unique soul signature with free will. And notice that the soul is made of divine substance. And get a sense that that divine substance knows what it was like before the soul was created. It knows everything in the universe that has always been. It has that deep, profound, cosmic sense of everything. Use your imagination, reach even deeper, as if going into a deeper place and a yet deeper place in your soul spark. It retains the perfect memory of everything that ever was, even prior to its existence as a unique soul. So get a sense of what that feels like. Because when you tune into the feeling of something, you are tuning into its felt essence. You can bring the calmness and the deep peace of the infinite universe prior to your creation. It's still there for you. So tune into that. Let yourself feel it, see it, hear it, and breathe that through your body. The stillness of eternal time via your soul spark. It's still there, deep in the center of your soul spark. The memory of what it's like to be made of universal substance. Get the feel of that. Get the sense of that. Sense the lightness of it and the brightness of it and the harmony of that, the harmoniousness of it. And bring that through your bloodstream. Bring it through your body. Breathe it in. Good. Very good. Let us continue. We are going to do different kinds of therapy. Therapy using your body, your mind, your consciousness, your imagination, and your soul spark. So tune into that cosmic essence spark and imagine that you are holding it in your hands and make it a little bit bigger. Not too big. Small enough that it feels that you can hold it easily, and big enough that you can feel that it has a shimmering, bright, lovely, magical presence. And just doing that, by the way, is therapeutically beneficial. But let's talk about some potentials here for using this for particular issues that you might have. So, for example, if you have worries or concerns or fears or regrets or any of these things, just take one of those, a particular thought or feeling that affects you, And notice what happens when you bring that thought or feeling that affects you gently into your soul spark. Several things might happen. The concern might disappear. Or it could be that your soul spark will share something with the part of you that is concerned. Or it could be that that concern will somehow trigger something therapeutically useful in your soul spark. And your soul spark might then create a new energy that you need to balance that out. Your soul spark might create the healing energy needed to work with something. So gently bring your attention to the problem, and then bring your attention to the soul spark, and then bring your attention to the problem, and then bring your attention to the soul spark. And now, let the soul spark do what it does. This is a somewhat mysterious process because it works in the way that it works, and there's no right solution. There's simply what happens when you let yourself discover and learn by bringing these two things together, the problem and the original soul spark. You might get conscious insight, and you might simply get a deep healing at a very subtle level. But whatever it is, it gives you a new perspective. It's the perspective of your divine cosmic essence self. Let's try something else. Take something in your body or mind that seems stuck or limited, and just look at that stuck or limited situation, and then gently look at your soul spark. Now that in itself, by the way, just being able to consciously shift from looking at a problem or issue and then looking at your soul spark is itself a revelation because it changes your consciousness. Now, you're not doing this to escape the problem. It's to learn new resources of looking at and dealing with issues. So look at the tension or fear or sadness, whatever it is, and then look deep within your soul spark. Now, what does it mean to look at your soul spark? You aren't just glancing at it as if to say, oh, there it is. You're being with it. That means you look at it and you look beneath the surface of the soul spark. You reach into it, you touch it, you listen to its inner message, the inner vibration, the inner harmony. You sense the light. You touch the depths. And just make a promise to yourself that every time you tune into your soul spark, you are going to tune in at a deeper level than before, so that you never take it for granted and you think, oh, that cute little spark. No, this is the essence of you, made of cosmic substance, so please tune in a little bit deeper each time. So you look at your issue in the present lifetime, and then you look at your spark, but you reach deeper into that spark, and that literally changes your consciousness. And then you look at the problem again, and already the problem is starting to vibe a little bit differently. And then you look at the spark, and you reach into it, you listen to it deeper than before. There are times when you do this, you might sense a mild shudder or a shimmer moving through you, because this changes your consciousness so that old patterns stuck in your body, heart, and mind actually start to release right out of you. Yes. Okay. Now, everybody's doing great. There are some questions coming up, and let's look at those. The first question is, this is coming from an ego level. How can this spark be me? That's an important question. To the ego, the spark cannot be you. So There are many questions that can never be satisfactorily answered when they're asked by the ego. All you can do is to look at your ego and look at the spark, and we are going to actually turn this into a little therapeutic meditation to help heal the ego right now. Tune into the sense of you that says, I'm me and I'm limited and I'm separate and all that stuff. So that's your ego. Just tune into that. And then tune into the spark within you and really reach deep into the spark within you. And just get that experience, because that experience, even if not in words, is a profound teaching. And then look at your ego and it's saying, oh, I've got problems and I'm limited and blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. Now, back to your inner eternal spark, and then reach into that spark and reach even deeper. And if you can, see the world as the spark sees it. That spark that's being created and recreated in each moment, that is the pure 100% unique free will soul essence of you. And from that perspective, look at your ego and see it for what it is. Do not judge your ego, just see it for what it is. Good. Now look at your ego. Okay, good. Now you're starting to see your ego a little bit from the perspective of your eternal spark. Now that's the nice thing about tuning ever deeper into your soul spark. It lets you touch into something, lets you be with something and see through the eyes of that spark. And it really starts to train you in your perception so that you really start to cultivate what's called cosmic consciousness, the recognition of the cosmic in everything. And you can do that while being a sound body and sane mind. You can be centered and grounded and stable and sensible, but also cosmic. Now tune into different places in your body where you might be holding old emotions. Now to really do this, get a sense that there's some place in your body where you can tune into your soul spark, so you have that as a resource. And let's practice going back and forth between the part of the body that's holding some old tensions or worries and the part of the body where you're able to tap into that soul spark. Now, if for some reason you find that you are in extreme bodily tension, maybe you could only sense your soul spark in your aura. That's okay. All we need is a resource here. So wherever in your body or aura you find your eternal spark, let it be there. And then tune into the place of tension. Don't react to it, just notice it. And then bring your attention back to wherever you sense the soul spark. And remember, reach deeper into that soul spark. Reach deeper into its essence. And then notice that part of the body that had some tension. And then bring your attention back to the soul spark place, wherever you sense it. Now, if you can, of course, start to converge the soul spark into that place that had the tension. That's the ultimate, but that's a little bit challenging at first. It's often, frankly, easier to discover your soul spark in a place that does not hurt or does not seem to be tense. So do not judge that experience. Just find your soul spark wherever you can find it. But gradually, as quickly as you can, start to bring that soul spark to the challenged places. And if you can't quite do that yet, that's okay. Just build your resource of soul spark wherever in your body you can find a way to do that. Just let that happen as easily as you can wherever you find it. One way to make that soul spark spread through the body is to make it bigger. Another way is to multiply it. imagine that you have millions of little sparks multiplying and flowing like little sparkles through your bloodstream, or breathing them in, or letting them flow through your chakras, your energy centers. Or maybe you want to make your spark really big so it fills up your aura like a mist that is all around you, and you absorb it into your skin and into your consciousness, however you want to do that. Good. Now let's get a sense that you can talk with your spark. Now remember, cosmic talk is different than talk with human beings with words. Cosmic talk means that you are listening, but you are listening with your heart and intuitive mind. You are listening with your body and soul. So, if not to words, what is the listening of? You are listening to vibrations, meaning that you might feel them, you might hear them as a subtle sound, you might see them as a light. So get a sense that there is a deep consciousness in that soul spark. Now you know it's conscious because it's made of divine substance, which is itself pure consciousness. So tune into that spark, however you sense it, and reach deeper into it. And ask yourself, what is the learning for me in this moment? Get a sense of what that learning is. And then reach even deeper into the spark and breathe it in. And get a sense what the learning is. Sometimes the learning is really basic, such as, hey, you're okay. Sometimes it's basic along the lines of, just be in the moment and just breathe, and this situation, whatever this situation refers to, will get better. Now you might say, well, that's basic advice, but on the other hand, getting that advice from that deep teaching in the soul spark, it really touches you at a deep level of body and mind and spirit. So even though the teaching might seem, if reduced to words, to be rather simple, it's still coming from a deep level of consciousness and touching you deeply. Now the way you can use this in any situation where you want insights or answers or a way out of limitation or improvement in any manner, when you tune into your soul spark, you're tuning into the deep essence of you. And when you touch ever deeper into that essence while asking a question, you get deeper insights. But those insights, of course, might not be in words, but they unlock limitations in your body, mind, spirit. And so it leads to many good things. It lets you bypass all the gyrations of your mind trying to figure things out, because you're touching the deeper part of you that is made of universal knowing. That's a pretty cosmic realization itself, that you can touch the part of you that is itself universal knowing. We just had a question about the nature of communicating between the self and the soul spark. Should one set one's ego aside? Should one just go with the flow? The answer is yes and no. Here's why. Cosmic communication requires your participation. So the idea isn't to just be a blank slate, but the idea is also not to be so preoccupied with insisting on a certain answer that you are not blank enough. And so this might sound a little contradictory, but the correct way to approach communication with your inner spark is somewhat of a blank slate, but maintaining a sense that you are present so you can have a conversation, so you can be there. The idea is not to be zoned out and just receiving as if you were a sponge. It's to have a little bit of the self be a little bit like a sponge, so you can be open to something that you weren't aware of before, but you are also consciously participating. And that means if you're tuning into something and you're starting to feel the vibrations and maybe get some insights, that might bring up other questions. Do ask those other questions. Do participate. Do be a conscious participator. We just had a question about, again, the correct way to communicate, and all this correct stuff can be readily answered by saying there is no correct way. But this particular question was, what if you experience colors? Are those colors it, or are you supposed to do, as some teachers suggest, go beyond the colors? Here's how to approach that. Everybody has their own way of approaching essence. For some people, it's a more visual experience with colors. For other people, it's sound. For others, it's a feeling. For others, it's a subtle knowing. So your symbolic way is perfectly fine. Now, the suggestion that some teachers have to always go beyond colors and beyond sound and all that stuff, that's true, but that doesn't mean that the colors are bad or wrong. So here's the paradoxical answer. Stay with the colors because that helps your particular mind have an awareness that you are communicating with something. But realize that the colors are a symbol. Colors are not the essence. But in the same way that when you are chatting with a friend, yes, you know that your friend is really a divine spirit, but there's nothing wrong with enjoying the presence of your friend, your friends, the look in their eyes, their voice, the presence of their body, the warmth of their aura. Those things might be symbolic, but highly meaningful, since we all live on this earth plane with bodies, with chakras. And so, to sum up, the colors are fine. Yes, you can always realize that there's something deeper, but there's nothing wrong with the colors. Just enjoy them and be with them. Also realize that when you tune in to spiritual things, you will sense a shift in the colors or the sounds or the feelings as you communicate. Just as when you talk to somebody, you can sense the subtle tone of their voice changing in each moment. You can sense their aura changing, the look in their eyes changing. That's all valid. Even though a person is a spirit that transcends all those things, those are valid things when you're integrating, when you're interacting, when you are participating. So use those symbols. Let's do a concluding meditation where we can really tune into our essence and really make it ours. So tune into your body and breathe into your body and tune in to your aura. And tune into your aura and feel it and sense it and be with it. Now get a sense that amidst this physical body and this subtle energy aura, there is the eternal spark of you. And recognize ever more now that each time you tune in to that spark of you, you can tap into a deeper level of it. Make that promise to yourself that you're going to tune into the deeper level of spark, so that when you hear the phrase, your essence or the divine spark, you will never again think of it as this little flickering candle flame. You will, from now on, know that it is a deep spiritual reality that really is made of universal substance, and every time you tune into it, you can tune in ever more deeply. And you can sense it anywhere in your body or anywhere in your aura, anywhere that's easy to sense. So just tune into it, and if it seems that you're just making it up, that's always okay too. Now the goal for this meditation is to simultaneously feel your spark with the full awareness of your material physical body and the full awareness of your aura. And so be with your breathing and notice that with every breath you take, There's you, the physical body, you, the subtle energy aura, and you, the eternal spark. Now, if you like, make your spark bigger so that there is more of it. And if you can, reach ever deeper into that spark. Think of it this way. Every time you touch more deeply into your essence spark, you are literally touching a deeper essence of you that lets you touch the moment when you were created. So touch deeper, and with every breath, deeper into that spark. It's very relaxing, but also gently stimulating. It's a beautiful combination. Touch ever deeper into the spark of you. And in that moment, give yourself either the positive affirmation or the positive phrase or word that you would like to give yourself in this moment. And each time you do this, you can choose any phrase that you like. So tune into that and be with that and realize that when people talk about source, when they say the word source, they are describing that which created you of its own substance. And from now on, you're going to know that when you want to touch source, you touch your inner spark, and in touching your inner spark, you are touching that divine substance. And in tuning into it ever deeper, you're making it so real that you cannot mistake what it is. You cannot mistake what you are, your essential nature. And you can do so in a state that is completely accepting, harmonious, and humble. You can humbly be with your cosmic essence. It is your nature. It's the nature of Source. It's the nature of everyone and everything. So thank you for co-creating that reality this evening, those discoveries. Thank you for making this universe a better place through your unique contribution of your unique soul signature. Infinite love, light, and blessings to you, and have a beautiful lifetime. Thank you.